The Olympics are currently happening. The 2012 Summer Olympics in full swing. Normally, I don't really I never watched the Olympics. I've never actually sat there and watched the Olympics happen. I do kind of pay attention to it somewhat. I at least follow the storylines though. And this year I'm watching a little bit more just so I can talk to y'all about it. Right now, currently, the only thing that's going on seems to be the Olympics. I want to have something to talk to you about. And, mostly I'm just watching basketball right now. Competitive swimming and all this other stuff going on, it just doesn't really interest me at all. So I'm just going to be talking about basketball. And today, specifically, first we're going to talk about men's basketball. And I just want to say, first and foremost, that I don't think there should be any sort of redeemed team or anything else labels attached to men's basketball like you have done. If you look at the Dream Team, I mean, they were the Dream Team because, everything just went so smoothly for them. But the reason it went so smoothly is because back then, that was the first year that professional players were allowed into the Olympics. So you basically had all the best players in the world versus college kids from countries where basketball barely existed. You had all these greats, all these future Hall of Famers, Michael Jordan, David Robinson, and Charles Barkley, all these other guys going up against no-names from countries where basketball barely exists. And I can understand why people seem upset that we're not as good as we used to be, and we can barely win basketball games anymore. But you gotta understand, yes, basketball was invented in America, but it was actually invented by a Canadian. I just wanted to point that out. He was a Canadian man who just happened to be living in America at the time. And, basketball, it actually was a relatively slow building sport. And only in recent years has it really exploded internationally. In 1992, I don't even know if Argentina had a national team. But now, back in 1992, you didn't have guys like Manu Ginobili, Dirk Nowitzki, and Tony Parker, all these other guys from other countries that are very well known in the U.S. as well. A lot of people, nowadays, you have young Argentinian kids looking up to Manu Ginobili. He is their Michael Jordan. But Manu Ginobili growing up, they didn't have basketball back then. They all thought he was crazy. They figured he'd grow up to be a soccer player because that's what everyone does in Argentina. They play soccer. And but back then you didn't have guys like Manu Ginobili and Luis Scola and Fabricio Alberto. These are all very talented guys. And we really shouldn't feel bad about losing to them. It's not that USA basketball has been declining. I mean, yes, Michael Jordan arguably one of the best players all time. But at the same time, LeBron James and Kevin Durant arguably two of the most athletic players ever in the NBA. And, it's not that we're getting worse, it's that the level of competition continues to grow. You've got guys like Tony Parker and Boris Diaw. The French national team is actually scary now. 20 years ago, people were like, wait, the French have a national team? I mean, there really wasn't basketball anywhere except the USA. And that's kind of why women's basketball, it continues to dominate. In the Olympics, Team USA women's basketball has won 4 consecutive gold medals. And they look like they're well on their way to a 5th. They beat Croatia by like 30 points in the opening game. And currently, at the time that I'm making this video, they are beating Angola 41-18 at halftime. And part of the reason for that is for the same reason that we had the Dream Team in '92. It's not as big internationally as it is here in America. And here in America, we barely watch women play basketball at all. And yet, they watch it even less in Russia and Croatia and Angola. You know, there aren't that many international players yet. It continues to be an American sport up to this point. And that's kind of like if you took American football, you know, we would be the dream team for like 20 consecutive Olympics, because you know, it's going to take a while before other countries start pumping out Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis and Darrell Revis, you know, LaShawn McCoy. It's going to be a while before there's an Adrian Peterson born in Russia.